No, and we were really in the moment because we weren't trying to capture and show all the things we were doing, So I think we were really in the moment and there was no proof of any of it. So honestly, all that is hearsay
Yes. So
as far as I'm concerned.
now it's just stories and a podcast.
Yeah. Welcome to A Village in Progress. I'm your host, Alexis. Village in Progress is a weekly call between friends practicing meaningful connection in a world increasingly shaped by technology and AI. Each week, we'll share stories and insights from decades of friendship and explore the rituals and habits that have helped them thrive. We'll talk about the importance of the friendships we have and the ones we hope to build in the future. This is a space for honest talk and hopeful imagination about what it means to care, belong, and build community. I hope you'll join us because thriving villages aren't found. They are built intentionally together. Hey, it's Lex. Hope you're having a great day. Give me a call when you can. Bye. Okay, so we are back with another VIP bonus after show episode. I thought it was cool when I thought of Village in Progress, the acronym is also VIP, which I thought just was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that's just a side note.
Anything that I get invited to VIP, I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, right? Me
Appreciate
too.
it.
So I, really wanted to do these after shows because I had my own experiences doing these shows, and I know that it was really out of my friends' comfort zones to do this and to be vulnerable and put yourself out there. So I thought, why not do it again and put you on the spot to talk more about your feelings and and just just hear about what you thought. So in the days leading, I know you were really excited when I mentioned the idea, but in the days and I don't know, minutes leading up to recording, were you nervous at all? Or, I mean, you're pretty good at public speaking.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a different type of public speaking. I kind of think of it as just, I mean, the one cool thing is I thought of it as just me and you having a conversation.
Yeah.
But I wasn't nervous then. The nervous part was when you kind of had these little promos on Instagram, like, oh shoot, I forgot this is going to be publicized to thousands of people, hopefully thousands, maybe millions, who knows?
One day
It just gets traction. But that was the nervous part, was oh wait, now people are seeing this on Instagram, people are seeing this on Facebook. Whereas the cool thing is when me and you were having this conversation, it was very natural, just me and you going down through memory lane. So it was good to have that really authentic, natural conversation of just me and you come through. But the nervous part was just actually, okay, this is actually, people are actually watching this. So
were you nervous when it came out? Did you watch your full episode?
I don't think I watched the whole thing just because I don't like seeing myself. I couldn't just sit there and watch myself talk. You were great. Me, I can't look at myself just on the video, for an hour and a half. But I did get bits and pieces, so it was good to. And it's a nice little treasure that we have that I can always pull it up and just go through our friendship again. So
yeah.
a version 2 to in a few years.
I got nervous too the first time that I recorded an episode and then had to watch back during the editing process, and I was like, oh my God, is that what I sound like? I can't, who's going to want to listen to my voice for this long?
Right.
And I just had to get over that because nobody else really cares. And I think I got a lot of feedback from our episode. I had people who were watching that Platonic show on Apple. Did you ever see that with Seth Rogen? And they were like, you remind me of that. And I said, when I watch that show, it reminds me a lot of you and I's relationship. Did you ever watch that show?
I did watch a little bit of it. Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest thing as well, is who's this, a lot of the people who didn't obviously know you, that's in my circle now here where I live in Philadelphia. They're like, who's this woman? Did you guys ever date? Did you guys hook up? All this stuff. So I kind of had to rehash, it was all these things that were flooding again that, remember when we were in college and high school. Now I'm getting it in my adult life. What's the story between you two? What's going on? And guys, nothing happened. We're just two good friends, and that's just how it is. And this is here we are. But
so
yeah,
funny.
it was cool. It was really cool to see, and it was cool to just kind of put that out there and just have other people witness it as well, and just kind of understand the theme here about village and, you know, friendship, and how it's important for people to kind of come back together and connect, and how it really is important to rely on one another.
Yeah.
I think people really got the main theme and they appreciated it.
I kept getting feedback from some of my in-laws that were like, I didn't know all these sides of you. And I was like, oh no, like cringe, like major. And I know your in-laws were like all over the social media, like, that's my boy, like that's Ian, he married my daughter. Woo, we love him. And I was just thinking like your episode was probably my most like that was the most my most wild era.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's what.
so
Yeah. You're my wife. You're like Taylor Swift. You should have a bunch of like.
that was my era. That was my wild era.
Yeah.
And so some
Yeah.
of them were like, I didn't know, you know, like that, because I'm not really that wild now. I mean, it's just not part of my life in that time now. I think I am still in there. It just doesn't get out very often.
Well, when we meet, we'll get that wild out again.
But it was probably my most embarrassing, like all the stories. And there were some stories that I did take out of there because I thought, oh, I can't put that out there. So maybe some gated content later on, I'll add that back. I don't know.
Each other when we actually, you know, we did our hanging out mostly. It was during those years where you're kind of just going through life and you're kind of testing the waters and you're really taking a lot of risks. Like high school, college, right after college, those are those core years where you're really pushing the limits, and you're really trying to test the waters and see what you can get away with, and try to maximize fun as much as possible. I mean, that was our goal. As soon as Friday night, Saturday night, we're like, okay, what are we gonna do, untraditionally, to have the most fun as much as possible? Is that gonna be sneaking into a club? Is that going to a concert? Like, what are we gonna do to have the most fun as possible? And I think. So that's the good thing about now, is that when we were back then, that's the good thing about back then, we didn't have the social media, we didn't have the.
Oh yeah, there is no proof.
So it's like when we went out, it was truly, you know, there was no kind of limitations.
No, and we were really in the moment because we weren't trying to capture and show all the things we were doing, you know? So I think we were really in the moment and there was no proof of any of it. So honestly, all that is hearsay
Yes. So
as far as I'm concerned.
now it's just stories and a podcast.
Yeah. It's all documented forever.
Yes.
Well, I was talking to Jen yesterday and she was listening. People who know us, I got comments, and I think like Lindsay even group texted us like, stop it with like the man in the basement and the chicken. Like people were dying over us recalling these memories. And Jen was like, that man was so nice, but like what was going on there? And I was like, I know. And she ran into you the other day. So I feel like I'm getting, I feel like you and we could always text, but we haven't communicated as much as we have over the last since like November.
Yeah.
October, November. And it's been really nice because I do feel like this has brought my village tighter, which was a goal of mine in this, I knew that you were part of my village, but it's nice that we are more actively communicating with each other and staying in touch and sharing things with each other. And then Jen sent me a picture of like that you two ran into each other, and she was like, it just gave her like an added sense, even though she knows you on her own also. It was like now we're all connected even more through this other adventure together, and so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. It's cool first it's cool like how many people you've touched, but it's kind of awakened a lot of friendships for me, and awakened my friendship with you as well, just because, you know, we all have friendships and important people in our life, but those relationships are a lot of times dormant just because of our busy life. And as you said, being an adult and a parent and just juggling 1,000 things every single day. So it was cool to awaken some of those friendships and re-energize those friendships. I've been very re-energized since our last conversation, and really seeing your friendships is brought a whole nother level to me as well. Just kind of seeing how you are and the person you are with your friends, and and your husband Lee, and just seeing how you're this different person. So I'm learning more about you now, and it's really cool to kind of take that in and see a different side in the friendship that I have with you. So it's been very personally, it's been very rewarding, and it's been great on a personal level, and it's also just been great to see you kind of you have so many different relationships and seeing different and all these different faces, and it's cool to really see kind of how you interact with different folks and different people besides myself and besides the whole Philadelphia, PA, Hershey area. It's cool to see how you are now in your new lifestyle, and it's just been really really cool.
I hadn't really thought about that, but I think we talked in our episode how we, our friendship didn't end, but we haven't seen each other for like a decade.
Yeah.
Or not a decade, actually. I did see you. I saw you when I brought Lee, so I probably saw you like six years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. But we didn't get to hang out. I was there kind of just to parade him around and like have him meet everybody in Philly.
That was his to meet the Philly people.
Yeah. But like, I hadn't really thought about that this would give you an opportunity to see my friendships in my like 30s and now 40s, and the relationships that I've established since moving to LA. But that's pretty interesting. Do I come across as the same person?
Yeah, I mean, everyone always says. I think the main themes that I got from all your conversations was that you have this inner confidence and you have this risk taking ability, and that's something that you've always had when we were younger too. Just like you were always down for whatever, and you always were very blunt and very frank with your opinions, either positive or negative. But I always appreciate your bluntness, and I always appreciated your risk taking. And it's funny to see that that's actually still comes through with your relationships where you are now, and it's who you are as an adult, and you've grown into that, and you still have that with you today. So it's pretty cool to see that those two things that I valued as in our friendship and as you as a person, that you're still carrying with you today, and your friends and your relationship and your husband, they all take that as well as what I saw, when we were teenagers. So it's really cool to see how that has come from when we were kids to as you as an adult now.
Yeah, I think I'm taking more calculated risks now. They're a little bit safer risks.
They're risks, but they're just a little bit more calculated.
They're a little bit more thought out, I would say. A little bit more thought to them. What has been the feedback from like your friendships? Like, what have you taken into some of your relationships?
Yeah, no, it's been all very positive. I think it's as a guy. And I think we kind of spoke about this last, and it kind of has to deal with more of like even the dad episode. As a guy, you don't see many men talk about their feelings or opening up about how they feel in their relationships, and it's usually just kind of kept under wraps. And I think the biggest thing was that I got from my guy friends was how open I was and how expressive I was. And how it was pretty brave of me to go out on a podcast, kind of without any kind of safety net, and talk about my feelings. Because
That was very brave.
yeah, well, thank you, I am brave. It's just I think going out and talking about your feelings is not a traditional trait of men, and I think they saw that I did that, and I think they really appreciate that, and they kind of commended me for going out there and kind of into the wild and just opening up about myself, opening about my friendships, opening about my, different characteristics. I think they really appreciated that, and they thought that that was a really cool aspect. So, it's something that I think comes naturally to me, but some doesn't come naturally to some others. But I think seeing me out there on a platform, talking about opening up about relationships, about my just everyday whatever, I think I went a long way with my guy friends. So, and I think it's just good to have a platform to talk about something and talk about anything you can, because we're all in this together, and it's good to always open up and share about your everyday ups and downs.
Yeah, for sure. So, just to kind of wrap up, I know you and I talked a little bit about the Ripple Challenge, and that you were really looking to grow sort of your dad village, and I know we're going to be talking about that in the future.
together a little bit more in depth, but have you made any progress in that, or has anything like come up since that?
Yeah. So I think the next step is I just kind of was testing the waters and just kind of see, okay, who would be interested in this? So I did recently take a trip with some other dads, and these are all these dads are friends that I've developed over, over a decade. And so they're really good friends of mine. But we take a trip almost annually just to get out of the house and kind of break the normal responsibilities of the day in and day out, and just kind of floated the idea around, like, how would it be to have, again, like a once a month, just a check in with dad, just talking about other dad stuff. It could be good stuff, bad stuff. What have you noticed? Just to have a platform to talk about, and I think it's been very positive. I think I was surprised actually how positive it was, because again, I think it's a great and healthy thing, but again, some other dads just aren't ready to open up and share, and that's fine, and that's exactly how kind of they navigate through life. But I was really encouraged that other dads would love to have a platform and a place to open up and talk about kind of what they're dealing with from a day-to-day perspective on being a dad. So I'm excited. Haven't started anything formally, but hopefully the next time we speak, I'll have something on the calendar, and we'll love to share with you all those feedback.
I think that's really awesome. I think what you did was sort of like stir the pot and like open the door. And I think it does take some time for people to start like peeking through that door, and kind of seeing. But you gave them a space to sort of let them know like someone else is also thinking about this. So, I it's something that's probably marinating with a lot of people. So I think that's really awesome. And, with your friends too, I think, you may have opened the door for them later to open up to you or to share more things. And so, I think vulnerability is a process and it's not something that happens overnight. But I think you giving them permission by example to do that, I think it'd be interesting, like over the next year or so, like how that really evolves. And, maybe on these dad trips or these guy trips, like, maybe it will start to like deepen the conversations a little bit and form like some deeper bonds.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, I think that was my biggest goal, is just to kind of open up the gate a little bit. And, again, I wouldn't be asking other dads to just like, here, tell
Hold
me,
hands in a circle and
not hold hands in a circle and put kumbaya music on, but it's more just and not even to speak up, but even just to listen, because again, yeah, no dad should be isolated in what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, it takes a village, even for the best dads. And I think I'm a great dad, but even for myself, it takes a village. It takes a base, whether that's family or friends, to help you develop to be even a better version of a dad than yourself. So my goal would just to be open up the gates and just to come into the tent and really just to hear or listen.
come
Not
into the tent.
a real tent, the metaphor, but some type of place that they can just listen. I mean, we have all these places, as as a dad, there's all these places that I go to, or I go, whether it's playing golf or playing basketball or just going to a bar. I mean, dads hang out with other dads because they want to get away from it all. But my goal is to actually open up a place and have an actual place where we can actually talk about everything, rather than just having it through a golf trip or going to the bar, but an actual a formal platform and space where we can actually just kind of open up and talk about the everyday life of a dad.
I think that would be really cool. I think it starts with things like trips, and then it evolves into, let's like make this trip specifically about these things, even just for like a day or like a workshop or something, and then it grows. So I
Yeah.
think putting the idea out there and letting it sort of find its own way is the first step, and really smart. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything on our episode? I know you didn't like rewatch it all, so you have no idea what you may or may not have even said. But is there anything that that you wished we talked about,
Or wish we didn't talk about maybe.
or wish we didn't talk about?
No, I mean, it's
When I
hard.
realized my mother-in-law was going to be watching, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have talked about the skinny dipping, but that was like a big part of that summer. So
I think
what am I going to do?
I wish if we could ever do this, I wish we could do this in person.
Yes.
Obviously, like over whatever through the computer is good, but I always think, even like in my professional life, I work with a lot of clients, and we have meetings over the webcam and whatnot. But I always think that if you can do something in person, face to face, it just has a more natural feeling and a natural fit. So I'm always jealous of the ones you have that nice little pretty pod.
I know,
Like,
in my background.
I always want one of these days I want to get in one of those chairs and we can do a real podcast together. So I think just being in person with you and sharing that sharing it together, like in person, where I can see your face, I think would go, would be a lot better for version 2.
Yeah, me too. Well, I was supposed to have a trip there, and then like literally everything that went wrong, and I was
Yeah.
at the airport at like 1 a.m, and plane got canceled, and then there was a giant snowstorm, and then everybody else's life like went haywire, and so it didn't happen. But we were meant to do this in person together, and so I really look forward to the time where we can do that also.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for participating in this first season of the Village in Progress podcast. You are definitely one of my core villagers, so I couldn't be more happy that you were willing to do this. And I know it's embarrassing and it's a lot, but I think it's for the greater good. And I think over time, I think this could make a real impact.
No, I agree. I'm looking forward to my T-shirt. It says "Village People."
Okay, I'll start working on that,
I'm
on the
gonna-
merch.
I'm gonna be one of the Village People. I'm gonna be the police officer.
Okay, you're on. Oh, and also I have to say that we've been going in our jacuzzi at night, and the only thing playing has been Yacht Rock. Lee
Nice.
was like, "Oh, Yacht Rock, yes," and so that has been the soundtrack of our like winter into spring outside.
Nice. Well, I'm happy. If I had any influence on anybody, I'm happy that I got to spread some more yacht rock on the people.
That's always good.
Really, awesome.
All right, well, thank you so much, and I will definitely talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Bye.
If this episode inspired you to reach out to someone or make a new connection, we would love to hear about it. Please send us a message or drop us a comment on our Instagram at Village in Progress Podcast, or you can drop a comment on our YouTube channel at Village in Progress Pod. And if you would like to hear more of our episodes, please subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe and follow wherever you listen and watch. From our village to yours, thank you so much for listening. Keep connecting, growing, and let's build something meaningful together. Talk to you next week.